Welcome back to the show. Warriors versus the reigning MVP Game 3. As we've seen from the Joker, 37 and 18. Not enough, though. I thought he did enough to be free from criticism. Let's see how that worked out. Nick, how should the reigning MVP feel after this loss?
Listen, finally he really showed up, and, until the two biggest possessions of the game where he blew it defensively and blew it offensively, he played really well. He can hold his head high. Listen, I'm done killing Joker. I said that history is going to judge me fairly and right on this, and history is going to come very quickly. Because, Brew, when they announce he wins MVP, and his season is already over, and he might already be back in Serbia riding that chariot and not even there to collect the award, this thing's going to flip. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a whole lot of people saying, well, the numbers might say people are going to quickly realize I was right about this all along. And I'm not going to kill him this morning. If you want to hear, I did 15 minutes uninterrupted on the What's Right with Nick Wright podcast, laying out the full Jokic take. Download, subscribe there. I do want to say, though, Brew, Jokic has a big opportunity in Game 4. Big opportunity. Because if they lose Game 4, he becomes the first MVP to ever be swept in the first round 4-0. He will have the longest, forget it, StatMuse, I didn't need this from StatMuse. I knew this already. Take that off the screen. I got more. If they lose, I got more than StatMuse has. If they lose in Game 4, it will be the longest playoff losing streak for a reigning MVP ever. And if they lose Game 4, it will be the longest losing streak in the playoffs for anyone that has ever won MVP at any point in their career. Because this would be 8 consecutive postseason losses. Right now, that record is held by Allen Iverson, and he did it not when he was winning MVPs. He did that in Denver at the end of his run. Jokic would be doing it while winning MVPs. So listen, he played well last night. He did what I had asked him to do, of course, until the end when Steph blew by him and then Draymond stole his cookies and the game was over and their season's over and the idea of him being a top 5 player in this league, hopefully, mercifully, is over. But I'm not going to kill him. Listen, it is what it is. He's a really, really good player that calculators have wildly overrated, and the playoffs will continue to show us that, Broussard. I'm not going to kill him for it. He did what he could last night.
You're not going to kill him. You just dropped about 7 daggers into him, real calm and collected, but you're not going to kill him. Look.
No, I mean, it's over.
I'm like you, Nick. I mean, Jokic is a phenomenal player. I am proud of my vote for him last year, and I'll say that loudly. And I didn't vote for him this year. I had him third. I didn't even have him second. I had Embiid second, Giannis first. But what I gotta say, Nick, and I've said this for the umpteenth time, it is a regular season award. What a player does in the playoffs following the MVP year, it doesn't matter. It's not even relevant because the votes are in. It's a regular season award. Now, what I'll say is this. It will affect him going forward. He won't get many more MVP votes for the next few years. I think the analytics guys will finally see the light, Nick, as you suggested. Because Dirk Nowitzki, when he lost in the first round as the MVP, it was like people were like, he's not going to get a vote for a long time. And it messed with his legacy a little bit until he, redeemed himself in great fashion by beating the Big Three in Miami in 2011, 4 years later. But, Nick, I'm going to say this, too. Jokic, as you pointed out all the numbers, this is not the worst performance or postseason for an MVP winner. Dirk, I brought it up.
No.
That was worse. In 2007, Dallas won 67 games. Dirk averaged 19 points on 38% shooting when they lost to Golden State, the 8th seed.
Yep.
They didn't even take Golden State 7 games. They lost in 6, and Dirk was bad. That was the worst performance. So Jokic, as you said, I'm glad you gave him his props for last night. Yes, the strip from Draymond was bad, but he did exploit Draymond a bit more, played well against him and played well all game. He's the only reason they were even in the game. And so this will be the second worst performance by an MVP winner that year in recent memory. But you brought up Iverson. That says a lot because we don't think about that with Iverson. We don't. And who was his teammate? Carmelo. Now, I know Melo didn't win the MVP, but we don't hold that against those guys that they lost, 7 straight playoff games? Or Iverson lost 7 straight.
But
and I don't think we'll hold it against Jokic if he redeems himself going forward.
That was past, that was 7 years after Iverson had won the MVP. But Wilds, here's the thing.
He still was a great
You're
player.
right. There have been bigger chokes. There have been bigger choke jobs by MVPs in the first round of the playoffs or in the playoffs. But the reason my big pushback is when Brew's like it's a regular season award. But that's why we shouldn't give MVPs to six seeds. You shouldn't give MVPs to guys you expect to lose in the first round. That is the regular season.
But isn't your
right? And Brew agrees.
Your issue is not actually with Joker.
I do count.
Your
The only time I gave
Joker.
a 6 seed was Westbrook.
Yeah, but Nick's argument has been misframed by the media at large. Like, your issue is not actually with Joker. It's with the media crowning Joker. It's with the analytic diehards crowning Joker. And this has been mixed up into a goulash of Joker slander. That's not what it is. It is the media overvaluing empty stats over winning basketball. That's why I'm just reframing your own point.
And Wilds, and here's the other thing that I think the media has misrepresented. They keep saying he's without his second and third best player, and that is true. But if anyone in the world is watching this series, because the implication there is you have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, and he's without his second and third best players. If he's actually the best player in the world, does anybody actually think that if they had that this team that is going to get swept by Golden State, if they had Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., who's a big question mark, that they're title favorites? Because that's the implication. You are not Jamal Murray away from being this bad. You're simply not. But the implication all year long has been, he would be having the 60-some wins and be the title favorites, Brew. They would be more competitive. They would be better. They wouldn't be the 6 seed. Jokic plus Jamal Murray plus the unknown that is Michael Porter Jr. is not winning the championship. And that's, Brew, how it's been presented all year long. That, those